this is Bob's DIY, and today we're going to be fixing a broken water line in the irrigation of our front yard. The reason I know that it's broken is because we have all this water coming out from underneath the grass. And because our water system only comes on at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, we never really noticed that we had a water leak until the bill came in. So now that we've identified that we do have a leak, we had to turn the water irrigation system on to find out where the leak was and which sprinkler head was leaking. We have these little flags that you can get from Home Depot or Lowe's. They're very handy. While the irrigation is running, you can stick the flag in next to the sprinkler head, and then you can go back and turn the water back off because the head will sink back down into the ground, and now you can still find the sprinkler head. So now that we've identified where the sprinkler head is, we're going to remove the grass around it without disturbing the grass too much, because I want to put the grass back down without having it all tore up. So I put down some plastic. This is actually just a trash bag. And what this is going to do is keep the grass clean, and it'll help me put all the dirt back into the hole without having to dig it out through the grass. Like that. Can you see the pipe down there? That's what we need to expose. All right, so we've identified our broken sprinkler head, and it's this threaded riser. It's actually broken in 2 places. So we're gonna unscrew that out and replace the riser. There's our feed line coming in. So one of the things I want to point out is they have these protective donuts. And this is for the landscapers. This should actually sit around grass height high so that the lawnmower and the weed eaters don't hit the sprinkler head. So the sprinkler head will sit inside there like that. So we'll put this back on, but as you can tell, you got to put it on with the assembly because you can't put it on after. This is a handy little tool. It's for taking broken fittings out of any irrigation. Normally it would be righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but these vanes, these little fins right here, are reversed so that you can use them with a little bit of in pressure. You can take out the fitting like this. And we're going to do the same thing for the one that's in the ground. So confidence is high that we'll be able to reuse this. This, we'll have to get a new one. Okay, so we're going to check the inside of here. This is the actual sprinkler head itself. These unscrew like this. Be careful on the inside because there is a spring. And what I'm looking for is damage, worn parts, holes, and make sure the spring actually works and is free of debris. The way this would work is that the water pressure would push the head up like that, and the water would come out of the emitter. We're also going to take off the emitter to make sure that it doesn't have any dirt, and inside the emitter is there's a filter right there. That's why it was so hard to get out. We need to clean this because this will prevent the water flow. So now we're going to go clean these. Okay, so before I put this thing back together again, I just want to go through the parts really quickly. We've taken our screen and we've cleaned all the debris out from inside of it. This is the top of the head. This tells you where the flow of the water is going to go. But before I put it back together, I want to point out this little screw right here on the top. Now that we have it disassembled, this is the function of the little screw. On the inside is a rounded head, and that head sits inside of the filter. Now, the emitter head, you buy them in different patterns, different spray patterns, but that doesn't dictate how far the water goes. This little screw right here will dictate the throw, how far the water goes. When you screw this down, you close off the water supply coming in from the screen. The more you screw it down in, the shorter the spray, the shorter the throw. Just wanted to point that out before we put all this together. Okay, so now that we have everything cleaned up, we're gonna put everything back together. I've already looked at our spring and our riser that's coming up out of the sprinkler head. But one thing I want to point out is this white flange right here on the inside. This is actually kind of a high wear item, and it can wear out fairly quickly. So it creates a nice seal around the riser coming out. But this one is going to be okay. One of the things that causes the white part of the riser or the white part of the seal to wear out is when sand gets inside there, sand and debris, because it just wears like sandpaper on this thing, and it just wears it down. Every time the sprinklers come on, go up and down, then you're going to get more and more wear, and eventually you'll have to. But that's easy. Okay, so we have the pipe, the feed line that's coming up out of the ground, but when I took it off and dug it out, you can see that a lot of dirt and debris fell back inside the hole in the pipe. So what we're gonna do, and most people don't do this, is we're gonna blow the pipe out. We're gonna get all that debris to blow out, but we're gonna set it up with a pipe that's gonna shoot it off to the side, because what we don't want to have happen if has all that water comes out to clean the pipe to go back into the hole. So I'm going to turn the water on, and we're going to blow all the dirt, debris that went back inside the pipe out. But I've put this pipe sticking out to the side so that the water will shoot off to the side and not go back into the hole, refilling the feed pipe after I take it apart. Okay, that was an awesome shot. You saw all the dirty water coming out. That dirty water would have clogged up our screen, our little white screen that we took out and cleaned, and then we would have the problem all over again. So now we're blowing out clean water, so now we're all set to reassemble and put everything back together. Okay, so now that we've blown all the dirty water out of our pipe, the last thing I want to do is remove the pipe, and this sprinkler head happens to be at the lowest point of the entire irrigation zone. So when I take the pipe off, waters start flowing out, just gravity flowing back downhill. So I want to make sure that I've got my sprinkler head ready to go with the riser that we're replacing. This is what broke in the first place. Ordinarily, we would use a PVC cutter to cut off to length what we need to get the sprinkler head to be at grass level. This particular incident, we need all of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get ready to take this off and put this on before the hole fills up with water. Okay, so we've reassembled everything, and right now we're going to pressurize the system, and we're going to check for leaks before we put all the dirt back into the hole. Let's see how it goes. So before we backfill, we want to check for leaks, and we're all set. So we don't have any significant leaks, everything's nice and tight. The next step will be to backfill the hole. Okay, so we filled the hole back up. We've pressure tested it first, making sure that there was no leaks. But I want to point out that when I put that plastic down for all the dirt and the debris, see how clean it ends up being? And you don't have to rake the excess dirt out of your grass to get it to go back in the hole. That's why I recommend putting some plastic down. That was just a large leaf bag, that's all it was. We put our grass down on top of it. We made a nice clean cut. I've pulled the grass back. Here's the sprinkler head itself right here. So in a few days or a week, this will all blend back together again and it'll be seamless and we won't be wasting any more water.